Hello everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. Today we have a couple new Paymaster Games models. Well, they're not new, but they're new to me at least. These models specifically come from their Plains tribe, subsection, faction, whatever you want to call it, of models. And our first look here today is at the White Buffalo Woman. So you can see she's got a nice, cool, swirly, mystical base. We have the Buffalo Woman herself. Let's get a little bit more zoomed in there. And I don't think that's actually attached, even though it looks like it might. Supposed to be. It's easy enough to fix. I gotta say, painting Native American clothing is definitely getting out of my usual comfort zone in terms of painting. I mean, obviously I've painted plenty of European style fantasy tropes over the years, since that's what's always been popular. So it is kind of a nice change of pace to try to come up with what could be a reasonable paint scheme for somebody from the Great Plains. And she is obviously accompanied by her big white buffalo. At least I think it's the buffalo that's supposed to be white. I'm not 100% sure where he's supposed to go, and obviously we're going to need to trim that off. And after my mishap with the horns on the Uktena, we're going to double check the website just to make sure we got everything where it's supposed to be. Gotta say, quality of the resin, quite nice. There is no real flash, so to speak. Obviously, we have just the connection where he was originally cast that we're going to have to cut off on his hooves there. But other than that, I don't see a lot of issue. Like I said, I think it's going to be more of an issue figuring out where exactly he's supposed to go. And I'm just taking a wild guess because this seems like a good placement for them. She's going to be leading the buffalo forward like so. I got to figure out how they're supposed to be painted, because my first thought is to do them all up like in ethereal greens and whites, but I don't know if that's actually how they're supposed to look. So I'm going to do a little research on that before I actually commit to any colors. And next up is this fun little kit. Set that to the side. Our Plains Dog Travois. I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm not sure what type of breed of dog this is supposed to be. I'm sure somebody can help chime in there. But our Plains pack dog here consists of 3 parts. You've got the doggy himself. You've got his travois, which is, I guess, what this is, that he's going to be lugging around, and then you got a out of focus bundle of goods plop on the back like so, where it's going to be eyed by ever eager eyes to snack upon. So one thing I do like about Paymaster stuff is, while it's not your typical tropey gaming models, it does fit in pretty well size-wise with other models that are out there. So if you wanted to have, especially if you're more into the RPG side of things, I think you could definitely get some interesting use out of this. There's not a lot that's done with the American West in terms of gaming outside of, you know, cowboys, really. I mean, yeah, there's some Indian stuff every now and then, but it feels like predominantly the Western stuff is focused on just that, the cowboys of the West. So it is nice to see some representation, at least on the tabletop, of something interesting and other than just, you know, dudes with mustaches and wide-brimmed hats. Not that there's not a place for that as well. So, some fun little models. And you know what? I almost forgot. They're actually joined by one more guy here. Now, this isn't from the north. I'm sorry, not the north. From the plains, but this is the Wendigo from Paymaster Games as well. And unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of his distended belly, and I know the whole reasoning behind why Wendigos were supposed to come into existence and the cause and all that. I always like when they have them with the deer skulls. That just looks cool to me. So that's my only big gripe with our Wendigo friend here. And yeah, he is anatomically correct. So if that's an issue for you and you're scared by the sight of such things, well, then you probably should steer clear of Kingdom Death as well, because it's even worse. But he's a nice menacing size if you are looking for something a little bit different in your Wendigo interpretation. Obviously, he's going to be more in the northwest, but I've had him sitting around, and I just did not have a good video to include him in. And I can't get here. Let's cheat. You need to stand up, buddy. Quit drinking on the job. Good enough. And I'm knocking things over in the process. Oh, boy. So you can see here, there is an interesting range of models available from Paymaster. I've said that many times before, and I'll say it again as everybody collapses upon themselves. But they do have a lot of interesting stuff if you're looking for something outside of the typical knights, goblins, and the likes. Oh, although, if you do like ogres, I do have one more interesting model to show off, because I was going to start painting him myself. And that is the ogre that I believe... Oh, God. Let me double check the name. So I double checked. It was the Tamangori from the Cook Islands. And you want something different. A hairy-backed Polynesian ogre. Now, that is something we don't see every day, and yeah, he's got a big belly, but I think it's going to be a fun one to paint. I've been looking forward to painting this guy. And again, the quality of the resin casting that Paymaster's put out, really nice looking. You can see all the little subtleties of his hairy body there. I have no idea how I'm going to paint that to justice. He does have some shorts on, thankfully, underneath his skirt. And I think I'm going to have to do me some reference digging and look up what kind of tattoos they might have had on the Cook Islands, just to make him look a little bit more authentic. I want to go with a yellowish skin tone, but I don't know if that would be appropriate, just in terms of what he would have been like, or supposed to have been like. So I'm going to have to do some research on that. And a lot of my ogres tend to be kind of a yellowish skin tone these days, rather than the red that they were for many, many years. But that's a whole nother story. So again, if you're in the mood for, like I said, a variety of interesting models, please do take a look at Paymaster stuff. They've got some interesting things that, as far as I know, just about nobody else has bothered to make for gaming scales. There we go. Good size ogre. Do I have a GW ogre around? It doesn't look like it, but yeah. Good enough. I've been rambling on long enough here, and I wanted to just get this video made because I really would like to get these guys painted up as soon as possible, because they look like they're going to be a lot of fun, and I'm sick of painting goblins, which is what I've been working on right now. So, time for something different, and time for me to stop talking, and time for you guys to enjoy yourselves, and hopefully get some of this stuff painted too. With that said, this is High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.